Hey everyone, Sean Peers from DentalPeers, President and CEO, bringing you our latest installment of Meet Our Partners. Always a lot of fun to get an opportunity to meet the great people that support us and that we work with. And today I am really thrilled to have Gavin Mohan from Ripe Resolution here to introduce him to all of the members of DentalPeers that maybe you aren't familiar with him. So Gavin, say hello to all the people of DentalPeers.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be able to present and have a little bit of a discussion with Sean here for all of the members of DentalPeers. I'm really excited for today.
And we're excited to have you, Gavin. And you know, I mean, this is going to be something that is going to be a little bit new to a lot of our members. Some members are still new to the world of marketing, and that's your world. So why don't you tell them a little bit about Ripe Resolution, what Gavin Mohan can do for them with his team at Ripe Resolution, and how it all fits into what dentists are looking to achieve to get the word out there about themselves these days.
Sure, my pleasure. Thanks so much, Sean. So I started a company called Ripe Resolution, and we're now in our 10th year. We just celebrated that a few months ago. And basically, the progression of Ripe has been in three stages over the past 10 years. In the beginning, we were just focused on content creation. So being able to photograph and video, film our own content, because when we were looking at what a lot of offices were doing in the beginning is that there's tons of stock images and stock videos were all over people's websites and platforms, and we thought that these platforms need to be a little bit more personable and show what's happening in the office. So we definitely spent a lot of time trying to become the best photographers and videographers we can be first before worrying about any other departments of marketing. That was kind of our specialty, and we were known for really good turnaround time. So being able to edit photos on the spot and being able to turn those photos around so that our clients can use them right away, it was our focus. And then after that, the next, I would say 3 years after that, we started to say, hey, instead of just sending our content to our clients and to website masters, we would develop our own website so that we can use our content in the right way, and we can start to control how user-friendly websites are. And then, with social media taking off more and more over the past 10 years, we started to curate Facebook profiles, Instagram profiles, LinkedIn profiles, and it's just more connectivity when our team is the ones who shot the content, and now we're the ones that are curating the platforms. We feel like we're able to do it in a coherent way because the client is using the same team for both avenues. And then in the past 3 to 4 years, we kind of shifted and growing in another department, which is advertising, and coming up with ways to stop people in their tracks when they're scrolling on social media, or when they're comparing different websites on Google search results. We geared into a department and added some experts to the team that specialize in SEO and advertising. So your pay-per-click or your social media advertising. So even though we do have a lot of different departments now, I don't like to use the term that we're a one-stop shop just for convenience, because I feel like if you're doing too many things, it's hard to do one thing really well. So over the past 10 years, we really focused on growing each department and specializing in that and finding a way to do it in a unique way before offering that service. So we did spend a lot of years dedicating our time to make sure that it's at a high level. And today we've been just very, very lucky to go from representing a lot of small businesses through referrals and through critical acclaim. I would love to say that we've been able to work with some bigger brands now, and on our website there's tons of case studies that go through some of the bigger brands that we're now lucky to work with.
I mean, you've been down and been able to work the last couple of years with doing work on the Super Bowl and everything, right?
Correct. A lot of our clients do sponsor spots on the Super Bowl, and our job is to not only help them come up with advertising ideas to run during the Super Bowl, but also usually before COVID, we would always be flying down to create content of what's going on before and after Super Bowl, what's going on behind the scenes, because that material really engages people. They feel like they're getting a sneak peek behind the scenes. And more people who are watching live events on TV are active on social media. So our job is to get curated content from what's happening behind the scenes to their cellular device so that they can engage and feel like they're part of the atmosphere. And then our clients is able to run their promotions to them in a very direct, instant way.
Because of course we're posting about it in real time, right? Did you see that? And people are taking pictures of their TVs of what they're watching and things like that when they're really impressed.
Correct.
And I think it's really important to get across that, just because obviously it's exciting and sounds kind of glamorous and glitzy and everything to be doing events down at the Super Bowl and the big companies and the big name celebrities that you can wind up working with there, doesn't stop you from being able to look after dentists across Canada as well, right?
No, I would say one of our difference makers having a lot of experience outside of dentistry, because we're kind of in tune with new ideas and new campaigns that maybe a dentist doesn't want to give that budget to try out and experiment with. These other brands that we work with allow us to try something new, test it out, experiment with it, really fine tune it. And when it's really generating ROI from a e-commerce side of things, if I can bring that knowledge to dentists and use what worked well, it's to the benefit of all of our dentist members that are also with us at Ripe. So I think a lot of dentists are looking for a fresh take. I think if you're only focusing on dental websites or dental marketing, it's very easy to fall into a cookie cutter approach. It's very easy to fall into a pool of content, and some agencies might be using the same content or same templates for multiple dentists, whereas we're a bit more boutique. We'd be coming up with something unique for every client, but the knowledge of what works well strategy wise could be coming from outside of dentistry. And there's a lot of times where dentists say, hey, Gavin, I like that feature on that hotel website or on that car dealership website. I think the convenience of that still crosses over to the boutique feeling or the high-end feeling I want to give my patients. So having that experience has really helped us stand out and shake things up in dentistry marketing that maybe wasn't there before.
And that's a great way to approach it, because I mean, as you said, you're not experimenting with new creative ideas just on the dentist. These are things that you've tried on larger scale avenues where maybe the greater sense of experimentation was something that everyone was really looking for, and you can now say, yeah, that really does work, and I think that would work in the world of dentistry as well. And bring that to a market that it's really not all that long ago. Our marketing and advertising was limited to putting in yellow page ads.
Right. Exactly. Now there's a lot more avenues out there for you to explore. But I really want to get across to the members of your network and to dentistry in general that we like to focus on 3 areas of our marketing. It's how we like to market ourselves, as well as how we want our partners to try marketing themselves to the general public. The 3 areas that we like to focus on is we call them the 3 R's. Sorry, I forgot to leave that. We call them the 3 R's, and the first one is refinement. And what we mean by refinement is that there's a lot of black and white areas to improve your marketing in general that are just, you either do it or you don't do it. It's an effort thing, and it comes to how much you invest in refinement. So when I say refinement, I mean when it comes to even like the photos that you use and the videos that you use to represent you, it's very important that you spend time editing and cropping and making sure it looks as good as possible, because that content is what represents you to the general public. And there's so many tools and apps and Adobe and things nowadays that you can use to really change the whole perception of a photo and make sure that you're in the best lighting, to make sure that if there's something like a garbage can behind you in your bio photo, or that all that stuff can be edited out really easily. You don't know these things that could deter someone from wanting to work with you. We've adjusted ties, we've fixed up blemishes. We have that studio experience to make sure you're putting your best foot forward when it comes to photo and video editing. And that's what we mean by refinement. Don't rush and put something out, because websites and social media, the more transparent you are about yourself, the better. So you want to use real content, but it's not against the rules to make sure that that content is polished and refined over and over again. I'm sure all of our dental partners have gone to conferences in the past where there's a whole time dedicated to before and after photos of teeth and smiles of patients, maybe before and after teeth whitening or some kind of ortho service. But the quality of those photos matter. If they're taken in a shabby way, they're not, or low resolution, or they're blurry or not well lit, it just defeats the purpose of what you're trying to get across in your marketing. So that's step one, refinement. Refinement isn't only on the photos and videos that we're talking about, but your marketing platforms as well. When it comes to websites, obviously you want to test them out as many times as you can, send them to a test group to try it out and to really refine the experience, the patient experience, and how quick, how easy are they able to fill out a COVID screening form? How quick, how easy are they able to book virtual consults? How easy are you making it? It's good to send your platforms to trusted advisors and people that can be critical and really look for problems with your platforms before you launch it live. So that's another thing we mean by refinement. And then when you're doing advertising and marketing, there's so much public information now that between the marketer and the dentist, if the dentist really had enough time, and read up on all of the Google tricks and tips and what you should be doing, it's all out there. It's a black and white process of what makes your website faster, what helps you get ranked higher. You use an agency like ours for convenience and for experience, and that, we've been doing it for 10 years. So hopefully we can do it in a quicker amount of time than it would take you and your team members. But there's a lot of resources out there that teach us black and white. Here's the criteria of what your website needs to have on it for it to rank well on Google. Here's the criteria of your blog post. So by refinement, we just want to make sure that you're actually, referencing something when you're building your marketing platforms, and see where you score on these things. So that's all falls under refinement, no matter which marketing project you're talking about. So the second R that we like to focus on is recency. Kind of like a what have you done for me lately, or what have you accomplished lately. And again, this applies to a lot of different areas of your marketing. So for example, your content creation should be as recent as possible. You don't want a picture of you looking like you just graduated from dentistry school. If you're more mature, you want to keep even your bio photo updated and refreshed every so often. Your website content, basically, if people are going there, or if Google is scanning your website and nothing has been changed for a few years, Google and that patient's going to think that maybe this information isn't relevant to me anymore. And it's actually going to derank your website because no one is updating it often enough. Every time you make an edit to your website, for example, your publish date, your recency score changes on Google. And the more updates you make to your website, Google keeps thinking that your information is the most accurate and up to date, and it wants to give that information to patients rather than a website that isn't updating anything. So recency score is actually an official criteria for Google SEO, and we just apply it to everything else because it's just important in marketing to keep everything up to date. It's one thing to have a social media profile and have some posts on Instagram, but you're not really giving much information. If your last Instagram post was 2 years ago or 6 months ago, the whole point of coming to social media is because clients want to know what's happening, or patients want to know what's happening right now. They want to get an idea of what it's going to be like if I booked an appointment today, not what it was when you first opened, but they want to make sure that you've upkept all of your great practices and cleanliness and and what's, especially with COVID, right? They want to know what changes have you made in your office. So making sure that your website and your social media doesn't look like everything's normal, business as normal, when everyone's hearing these things on the news about COVID and health protocols, safety protocols. it's really important that you keep your platforms up to date with what's happening now. And another big factor that, if, for example, would be Google reviews. So when you have a Google review, it's one thing to have, 200 Google reviews, but if your last one was years ago, that the date does show how long ago the last review was. And people might think, well, what's happened in the past 2 years? How come no one's left a review in the past 2 years? That's why it's important to keep things recent and updated. So recency is a big part of what we do. And like I said earlier, we were known for shooting photos and videos on site at a lot of events because people want to know what it's like to experience that right there. So we had to come up with a whole protocol of being able to edit and deliver polished photos and videos to our clients or to our event sponsors on the spot within half an hour or within 20 minutes after it's been shot. It needs to be done. There's no such thing as taking things back to your studio and taking days or weeks or months to do post-production. So that's how recency started with us, and we realize it's so important across all of marketing.
Another big reason, like you said earlier, you avoid the stock photos, right? You avoid that situation where it looks like, gee, the same patient is being treated by multiple dentists because he or she keeps popping up on everybody's websites.
Right. We would see the same kind of Invisalign model on everyone's dental website, and we want to get away from that, not only to be more transparent and real and have authentic, but it was a way to differentiate yourself from maybe people in your other dental offices in your area that are still using stock photos and stock videos. So we often only represent one dental office per area for conflict of interest reasons. So whoever's working with us, we like to make sure that they're separated from other offices around them by making sure that they're revealing as much as they can of what the atmosphere is like in the office.
And that's a great feature there, because it really does allow for the dentist to have that opportunity to work with someone who will take the time to get to know what that dentist is about and what sort of a brand they want to portray.
Exactly. And the last R is kind of related to that. The last R is reputation. So now that you've worked hard to actually do things that are recent, when I said recency, it's important to take on new challenges. So if new technology comes out or new machines come out, you probably want to keep up with the times and invest and try those things out. That's all part of being recent and staying up with the times. But reputation is now, it's very important to document those things that you're doing, and not work is great, and making investments is great, but a lot of great marketing content is you're doing it every day and no one is documenting it. No one is recording your process. No one is taking photos of all your happy patients. It's just not happening consistent enough in a lot of offices that we meet with or have consults with. So they dedicate so a team member's time each week to capturing what's going on in the office, and they make a certain amount of hours per week, and then that office team member would dedicate part of each of their days to making sure that they get something captured or documented so that it can be used in marketing to keep the recency score high. But documenting what you've accomplished, and it all goes towards your reputation as a dental office. So reputation is very, very important when it comes to outside companies like Google and Facebook and those kinds of systems. One of the big SEO factors when it comes to why your website would rank above another one is basically which website has a higher reputation score. And the way we try to improve that score is that Google wants to know how many other websites are talking about your URL, your website address. It's kind of like having more friends and more referrals talking about you. Your reputation grows. It's the same thing on the internet. And your website is like its own person, its own entity. Just because you're well known doesn't mean your website URL is well known on the web. So our SEO team would go in and look at other blogs and other partners that are willing to talk about your brand, talk about your website, and leave a link on their page. Once they publish an actual link, that goes back to your website, that increases your reputation score. Google's like, oh, all these people are mentioning your website. There must be a reason. They must be, it must be popular, and your reputation score goes up. So that's a very big factor. I would even say 75 to 80% of SEO rankings is based on this reputation score. So when you talk to a lot of different marketers or SEO teams, you'll hear them say the word backlink a lot. And backlink is another website publishing a link that goes to your website. That backlink creates that kind of ranking factor. And it makes sense. It makes sense across everything. The more Google reviews you have, the higher your reputation score is. But what we've been trying to get across to our dental partners is that they don't have to schedule a day to come up with content, come up with marketing ideas. Let's sit down and write out what we have to do next week. People just want to know what you're doing naturally inside your office that might not be getting documented. And that's where we can kind of come in and relieve that. And you can book a photo shoot, you can book a video shoot with us, and we already have all of these factors and experience in our head, and we will plan out the shoot with you and make sure that it isn't too staged. For example, we would have consent from your patients, and the ones who are consenting to being your marketing, we would go ahead and shoot what it's like for them to go through your process and to experience your service.
So, I mean, wow, it's a wow factor, right? To try to be able to take something that is simple, routine, but at the same time give it a little pizzazz and make it a wow factor, so that people are impressed and they say, that's where I want to be.
Right. And instead of hiring maybe a designer full time, or having to outsource to someone full time and basically take up a lot of hours, we try to set up a channel with our dental partners where their existing team members can take very raw photos or videos of what's happening and just kind of Dropbox it to us, or send it to our email account, or text it to our business text line. And basically we get the raw content and we'll polish it up and edit it to be in its best light possible before it gets used in social media or before it gets added to the website. There's some time that we take, which is why people send us stuff. We don't put it up right away raw. We include kind of the time it takes to say, hey, if that was my business, or if that was a picture of my team member, I would like to make sure it's edited in its best light before it gets used in the marketing. So those kind of in between steps can make a very big difference. And by sending us the raws, we will take care of that for our dental partners,
including DentalPeers. I mean, you do our website.
Correct. Yeah, I wouldn't really want to meet with someone that didn't trust or work with us already, to be honest. So it's been awesome that DentalPeers is not only adding us to their directory of partners and vendors, but that we actually manage DentalPeers marketing. So any new websites or social media or ideas that you see coming out, Sean and I are hopefully working together to put that out, and will be a good representative example of our work.
So if any of the DentalPeers members wanted to reach out to you, Gavin, what's the best way for them to contact and learn a little bit more about what you can do and what maybe they should be doing to help improve their marketing score, if you will?
Yeah, the fastest way is actually if you go to our website, riperesolution.com. That's a resolution like a camera resolution, because that's how we started. Riperesolution.com. The actual big call to action at the top is to book a meeting for us to do a free diagnostic on your marketing platforms and where they are right now. So in a couple of clicks, you'd have a Zoom meeting booked, kind of just like this. And we would actually screen share and go through and do a live audit with you. Like not much prep, not trying to sell you anything, just a quick live audit on this is some of the problem points that we see, and this is what's really working well for this partner in this area. And why don't we try applying these things? And a lot of our services, we could even do a la carte, or we do a lot of free trials to just show you the difference it can make. And once we have that trust and that relationship going with your team or with your office or with you, that's when you can talk about doing more long-term services with us. But yeah, the quickest way is to go to our website, and the first big button you'll see in the center of the screen says book an online appointment. You can choose a time and you just get a free diagnostic, and it's not going to be just a report that's generated, auto generated and spat out at you. It's going to be a real person like myself that's going to be going through each of your marketing platforms and just giving you some free advice, and you can decide what to do from there.
And of course, for DentalPeers members, if they don't remember the website address that you've just spelled out, they can of course just go to the DentalPeers website, go to the vendor partner page, and you'll find the Ripe Resolution logo there, and you can click on that, and that'll take you to Gavin's website at that point in time.
Thanks for mentioning that, Sean. You're right. We are listed on the DentalPeers website, and we're always very, very excited to meet your members. And if they reach out to Ripe Resolution, go to our website and or your website, and when they get in contact with us, just make sure they say that they're a DentalPeers member. And that first project that they want to try with us, whether it is a graphic design, a new website, it's going to be done at 50%. For the team members for that a la carte one-off project. And based on how that project goes, if they want to explore some of our more monthly marketing services, we could always have another consult about that. But that first project is always 50% off of our public pricing that's listed on our website as well. DentalPeer members can get that discount by mentioning that they're a member.
Excellent. We always love that. We love great value. I mean, it's always nice to get great prices, but it's only good when it comes with good service and good quality work. And certainly I know from my own experience, that's been a positive aspect of our working together in terms of everything you've been able to do on the DentalPeers website. So I definitely appreciate that, and would encourage any of our members, if they're looking at getting more and more exploratory and getting into the world of marketing, not just putting up a website. I mean, that's an element, but there's more to marketing than just putting up your website. By all means, reach out to Gavin, reach out to his team, and talk to them and get a bit of an idea of what they can do for you. Because, as important as the internal marketing and referral systems are, we still have to make sure that the image that we're conveying, both to our existing patients as well as to prospective new ones, is consistent and reinforces what we want out there about our practice. And that's what Gavin and his team can do for you. So any final thoughts before we wrap this up then, Gavin?
No, just echoing what you just said. I think because of COVID, there's been a big shift to a lot of patients spending a lot of time at home and researching more and comparing more what their options are when they're comparing, dental services. And I think even when things come back after COVID, people are not just going to ignore their devices and their social media. I think the ones who are on social more or on Google more are going to stay on there. I think this has just kind of accelerated the process of the need for digital marketing in dentistry.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So by all means, thanks very much for joining us, Gavin. And everyone, I look forward to our next mystery guest. They're always a mystery, as I say. You never know who I'm going to send out next, but we will definitely be continuing with our Meet Our Partners series. I know it's proven to be very popular. Everyone is really getting to appreciate the opportunity to not only see the names of the people that have partnered with DentalPeers and support DentalPeers, but to get to meet faces like Gavin sort of behind the scenes and have that first contact, if you will. So Gavin, appreciate your time today.
Thanks for having me, Sean. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
All right, till next time when we meet another one of our partners. Take care, everyone.